Welcome to another YouTube video on business acquisitions. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal, and I'm a mergers and acquisitions lawyer. And in this particular YouTube video, we'll be discussing the importance of scrutinizing and obtaining information about past customers and potential customers that might be leaving a particular business that you're looking to acquire. Now, all too often, what I find is that when individuals and businesses look to acquire an existing business, they get a semblance of what the current financials are, or what the current customers are, but they don't really study intensely or with any degree of commitment who the previous customers were, why they left. And this is extremely important in my personal and professional opinion, because when you're acquiring a business, you want to know where the relationships were and what relationships were lost and why, and whether those relationships have a larger impact on the business going forward, or whether certain relationships can be restored. Now, why do I say this? I say this because if a company that's being sold has lost clients in the past, there might be a very deep-seated reason why those clients have been lost. And that is an issue that might be not limited to those clients, but may exist with other clients and result in going forward that this is just the tip of the iceberg, the start of a waterfall that goes down. And you get swept in because there is a larger problem underlying the business that you're looking to acquire. And it's only by seeing these previous lost customers and why they were lost that you get a sense of how they were treated and why they moved away from this particular business. Similarly, there is the possibility that there are other customers who are on the periphery, sort of wavering whether or not they're going to be on the outs with your newly acquired business. And especially when they see a change might well give them an opportunity to change themselves, to move on to another business, especially if there's contracts there that allow them to make those changes. So you want to be extremely careful with this stuff. So what do you need to do? Well, you can't simply rely on the financial statements that you're given. You actually want to start digging deeper into the business, especially where you see revenue numbers going down year after year. And even though you see those revenue numbers going down year over year or flattening out, but always, or there has been a constant need to reacquire new customers and heavy promotions and heavy marketing, there is a lack of stability across the top line. What you want to start doing is start digging into the major customers and the major invoices and receipts that existed 3, 4, 5 years ago, and compare them to what the invoices and receipts are for the last couple of years, especially where the business is not necessarily a cyclical business, but an ongoing business. So you want to look at it and say, why is company A, who represented 10, maybe 20% of the revenue to the acquisition target, no longer with this company? And you need to get solid answers from the sellers as to why they're not there. Not simply because you want to try to negotiate a better price, but you want to understand where the relationship went wrong and where you can try to address it, correct it, and avoid problems. Because there, as I said before, there could well be problems that this is going to bring forward. And if you're not getting honest and frank answers, you really have to question the situation. Then you have to go back and see why these situations are. There might be internal reasons for why company A or company B did not continue to purchase products or services from your acquisition target. You need to understand those. But at the same time, you need to understand why this happened. Because let's take a step back. Such a big field today is analytics. And analytics is typically the research of trends. What you're wanting to do yourself is research the trends with respect to not only that business, but your acquisition target. Because by researching those trends, you're going to be able to correct errors, mistakes, weaknesses in the business, and achieve greater profitability. And that's what your ultimate goal is. You want to be achieving as much profitability as possible from any acquisition. So you need to look at aspects of the business beyond what's on the surface, beyond what's simply in the last 3 years of financial statements. You have to start asking hard questions. As is typical with a lot of small and medium-sized enterprises that are acquisition targets, they're being acquired for anywhere between $500,000 to $10 million, and sometimes for much larger numbers. And yet, even with all this money that's being thrown around to acquire a company, the amount of due diligence, the amount of probing and insights that are taken into the acquisition target are simply not there. Instead, they're skimped upon. They're limited. And the acquiring individuals do not invest the time and some of the money necessary to engage the right professionals and to engage in the right pursuit of why this particular business is or is not appropriate, why the purchase prices are correct, and how best to move the business forward. You should have a strategy for moving forward. And what we attempt to do as lawyers should be to attempt to facilitate that. Because when you spend money on professionals, sort of swerving off here, you want to be getting, just as anywhere else, a return on your investment. So they need to be guiding you and helping you achieve that profitability. And one of those ways is to find out those trends early on, so you can start making the shifts, the changes necessary, the right decisions going forward. So sometimes you don't acquire a particular business, and when you do acquire the business, you correct the weaknesses early on and use your transition phase as a powerful tool to reflect that change that you're trying to implement. I hope you found this YouTube video informative. For professional legal services in this realm and other realms of business acquisitions and mergers, please feel free to contact ourselves, as this is a primary focus of our legal practice, with the information capable for contacting us available in this particular YouTube video and on our website. Thank you.